like, and subscribe, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week. Imagine spending your whole life becoming the pound-for-pound best mixed martial artist in the world, all to throw it away trying to protect your child. Today, we go over the unreal story of Cain Velasquez. Cain Ramirez Velasquez competed in the UFC heavyweight division in MMA from April 19, 2008 to June 13, 2015, where he utterly dominated his opponents and became a two-time UFC heavyweight champion. He defeated Brock Lesnar to win the title at UFC 121 in 2010 and Junior Dos Santos at UFC 155 in 2012 to regain it. After retiring from mixed martial arts, Velasquez made a brief appearance in WWE in 2019, battling Lesnar one last time in Saudi Arabia.
Brock Lesnar has seen a ghost, and that ghost's name is Cain Velasquez!
Everything would change on February 28, 2002.
Tonight on the attempted murder case against former UFC star Cain Velasquez.
MMA icon Cain Velasquez made his first court appearance today. MMA star Cain Velasquez denied bail again.
Following that, former UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez was arrested for attempting to kill the guy suspected of sexually assaulting the fighter's child. Cain Velasquez's 4-year-old daughter experienced the nightmare every parent dreads. According to witnesses, someone opened fire on a vehicle carrying 43-year-old Harry Eugene Goularte, his stepfather, 63-year-old Paul Bender, and his 65-year-old mother, Patricia, with the intent to murder Goularte. Goularte's stepfather, who was driving a Chevy Silverado, was reportedly hit by the bullet instead.
Cain actually got his father, didn't he?
Yeah,
not the actual
unfortunately.
guy himself. Yeah, sadly.
Officers spoke with the mother, who stated Velasquez had followed them from their home in San Martin to Cochran Road and Butterfield Boulevard in Morgan Hill. An 11-mile high-speed chase ensued, and that's when the suspect began shooting. Prosecutors also say that Velasquez rammed his truck into the Silverado during the 11-mile chase in the South Bay. Cain Ramirez Velasquez, the former UFC heavyweight champion, was the shooter, according to the victim's mother. She knew without a doubt that Cain was the perpetrator of the crime. While driving a black Ford F-250, Cain pulled out a firearm and shot her son Goularte. Despite their best efforts to keep moving, the mother claims that Cain was able to catch up to their car and slam into it as they fled. Cain followed them and eventually fired 2 rounds, hitting the driver in the arm and the back. When questioned about their connection to Cain, Goularte's mother revealed that Cain's child attended her daycare for 2 years. Patricia owns and manages the multi-million-dollar daycare, Patty's Child Care, from her house. Just look at that place. A massive backyard and even a baseball field. It looks like a child's wonderland, but we know all too well that looks can be deceiving. The San Martin Sheriff's Office was dispatched to Powderhorn Court 5 days before the incident. The sexual assault investigations team visited Patty's daycare and spoke with the 4-year-old victim. Multiple sexual assaults were uncovered. Goularte, Patty's 40-year-old son, didn't work at the daycare but lived with her and had access to all the children. The Santa Clara County Sheriff's Department jailed him on suspicion of lewd acts with a minor under the age of 14. A court in Santa Clara ordered Goularte's release from jail on the condition that he remain on home detention, wear an electric monitoring bracelet, and keep at least 100 yards away from minors. According to the district attorney's office, Goularte was on his way to retrieve the monitoring bracelet when the shooting happened. Goularte has pled not guilty to 1 charge of child sexual assault. Goularte's attorney, Stefan DeFilippis, announced his client's not guilty plea. The preliminary trial for Goularte will begin on September 20th in San Jose, California. If found guilty, he may spend up to 8 years in jail or pay a fine of $10,000 for inappropriate actions with a child. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Cain is facing possible life in prison for firing a weapon that didn't cause any lethal harm, while this sick individual can get off with a $10,000 fine.
It bothers me a lot, to talk about that, because every time I'm thinking about that, and I think that Cain Velasquez is in the jail right now, and the guy who was molesting his child is out there. It's just make me crazy.
Goularte was given a $50,000 bond and permitted to virtually attend the pretrial sessions soon after his arrest. In the meantime, Cain has repeatedly been refused bail requests. If convicted of attempted murder, he could spend up to 20 years in jail, or life. Goularte will be barred from participating in the forthcoming trial hearings through remote access and must appear in person. According to Velasquez's relatives, Goularte took Cain's 4-year-old child into a restroom and groped her about 100 times on the genitalia.
It was 100 times. I don't know how they know that, but that's what's circulating. And as you say, one time. When you hear that this potential has been going on for God knows how long.
Investigators are now working with child care workers to discover how many children were enrolled in the daycare. Thankfully, its license has been revoked due to the presence of a child predator in the house. All the children at that daycare were at risk, so rightly so. Cain was eventually apprehended by police in Morgan Hill after they located his Ford pickup and conducted a vehicle stop. After a routine traffic stop, Cain was taken into custody. Officers discovered a pistol with a 40mm caliber and 9 bullets in the chamber, as well as a 10-round magazine and a 3-round magazine in the vehicle's center console. Cain was found to be the lawful owner of the firearm. Cain was later arrested and charged on 10 counts. Attempted premeditated murder, which will get him life in prison if found guilty. 3 counts of assault on 3 people in the vehicle, Paul, Patricia, and Harry Gallarde. Willfully discharging a firearm from a vehicle and carrying a loaded firearm with the intent to commit a felony. I don't know about you, but that all sounds the same to me, and this is simply lawyers using legalese to throw as many charges at him as they possibly can. Although the evidence against Cain looks to be strong, he was able to hire Mark Gregos, one of the most outstanding attorneys in California. Mark has experience defending celebrities in high-profile cases. Ironically, this is the same lawyer who defended Michael Jackson. There's almost little to no chance at all that Cain will get off scot-free in this case, but we're still crossing our fingers for the worst possible sentence for Harry Gallarde. The mother and stepfather not only let Harry remain in the house, but also allowed him unsupervised access to at least 1 kid, and maybe more. All of the mixed martial arts community has come out in full support of Cain Velasquez since the news of what transpired surfaced.
Let's talk about Cain Velasquez, man. Free Cain, man. A lot of people, what he did, a lot of people wouldn't have done the same thing, but I respect the shit out of him. I mean, having a kid, your kid be molested, I mean, we talk about that all the time, like we would do that, but he was in that situation, he actually did it. So free Cain Velasquez, much respect and love, and I hope you get out soon.
Joe Rogan, widely considered the best UFC commentator, recently addressed the topic on a Spotify podcast.
My only wish is that he did it with his hands. My only wish is that he just ran that car off the road, pulled that guy out of the car, and beat him to death.
I'm no lawyer, but this sounds like a clear case of temporary insanity to me. If Cain had his wits about him, he wouldn't go around mindlessly killing people.
And you could only imagine the rage, the rage that must have been going through that man's mind. I mean, I get it.
I just hope that the 12 jurors in this case are parents. Many parents in his shoes could relate to how he must have lost it when he found out what was being done to his child. Another parent and UFC fighter, Brunson, has recently justified Velasquez's behavior and advocated for a light punishment in an Instagram post. No one said Cain Velasquez handled the situation legally correct. From day one of being a loving father, our objective is to guide and protect our kids through life. If the accusations of a 40-year-old man sexually assaulting a 4-year-old for over a year even once is accurate, Cain acted in a temporary definition reads not permanent. Even a year could be temporary when compared to a year insanity and should receive probation at best. No one was killed. Don't mess with our kids. You get what you get. Hashtag free Cain Velasquez. Recently, former UFC bantamweight champion Ronda Rousey implied that she could have done the same or even worse, so Brunson's statements are particularly timely. Brunson wore a jersey showing support for Velasquez and his legal case in a different Instagram post. We support you at Cain MMA. Proceeds go to his legal fees. Shirts here. But it seems like Brunson's support for Velasquez doesn't end with the jersey. A short time later, Brunson posted on Twitter that he and other mixed martial arts community members had contributed $10,000 to pay for Velasquez's legal bills. As a father, I feel you, Cain. The MMA community got your back. $10K in 2.5 days sent to his wife. Hashtag free Cain Velasquez. Darren Wynn. I stand by Cain and his family in these hard times. He is one of the most selfless, genuine people I've ever had the pleasure to know on a personal level. I almost can't put into words how amazing of a guy he is.
I am really good friends with Cain. I will not say anything about Cain. I will not talk about what's going on with Cain. My friendship only goes so far, and it doesn't go to this podcast when it comes to that type of stuff. Okay? Let this all settle out. Everyone knows that he has 100% of my support. I don't need to say anything else, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to get into details about his personal stuff, and this is really, really directly to family stuff and everything else. So this is not my business. This is no one else's business. Let it all play out, and everyone knows that I have his support.
As of now, Cain Velasquez hasn't even entered a plea. The plea hearing continued again, as attorneys work out discovery issues. I hope things go well for Cain, and if they have to impose a severe punishment, they give him a chance to decrease his term after a few years. Do you feel Cain should be imprisoned because of the danger some believe he poses to the public? Or will his crimes be forgiven and forgotten in light of the atrocities that led to his vigilantism? Please let us know in the comment section below. Until next time, adios.